Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, November 19th. So welcome to the full moon lunar eclipse that we're having here today, 3:58 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The moon, of course, will be in Tauran energy. If you haven't listened to the full moon eclipse moon event that I put out, the video I put out, please listen to that now. If you haven't downloaded your moon guide, please do that now. We have 2 additional days after the full moon peak in order to really tap into this energy and get clear, visualize what it is that this moon energy is allowing us to create. So I definitely recommend that you take advantage of all the resources that I put out there for everyone to get in alignment. So the moon is going to be in Taurus. Of course, that full moon lunar eclipse is taking place at 27 degrees and then continues on as it moves out of Tauran energy to lock into Gemini energy. That will be taking place very early, around 9:30 a.m. So we have 7 different aspects here today. 5 of them involve the moon. In the moon guide, we go into depth of the aspects taking place at that peak energy moment. So there's a lot more going on under that full moon peak than there is going on in the whole entire day. That's why I recommend you do the work, you dive into the guide and you see how these particular aspects are affecting you. Out of the gate, we have Venus making a trine with Uranus. So Venus, of course, she's in her pre-shadow period now, slowing down in order to really observe, reevaluate, reanalyze her worth, her value, what makes her happy, what brings her joy. And right now, we are kind of realizing a lot of the things that we've been a little bit confused about when it comes to our values, our worth, especially in our personal relationships, especially in our finances and planning for the future. We're gaining a little bit of clarity. That Uranian energy brings in new light codes, new inspiration, new downloads from the other realms. This is where it comes in through our crown, where it kind of sits in the higher part of our intellect before seeping down into the lower part of our intellect that Mercury rules, where then we can start processing these aha moments of inspiration and actually start making logical and practical sense of what it is that we're going to do in our physical realms to align with these new visions and dreams and goals that we're having. Venus trining Uranus this way is definitely giving us an aha moment. We're realizing who needs to stay, who needs to go, where it is we have to do a little bit more self-love, self-worth on ourselves. This is where we realize that the way that we treat ourselves is setting the tone for everyone else and how they treat us in our personal relationships. It's also illuminating for us where it is we need more stability, safety, security in our relationships, in our money matters, in our plans moving into future goals. Now the moon opposites the sun at 3:58 a.m. again Eastern time. This is where the full moon takes place. The moon in Taurus is all about stability, all about security, all about safety in our relationships, in our money matters, in our future plans where our happiness is concerned. The sun in Scorpio needs a certain death to take place in our lives in those particular areas of concern in order for us to truly rebirth ourselves, transform ourselves into who it is that we need to be in order to accept the blessings that we've been praying for. If you were who it is that you needed to be in order to actually accept the blessings that you've been praying for, you would be that person and you would have them already. If you don't have them already, that means we have some work to do. This is a huge illumination of emotionally and mentally speaking, what needs to die within us in order for us to pour our energy, time, and attention into building ourselves up in a brand new way. The moon is going to go ahead and make a not so nice aspect with Venus. And again, this puts us at emotional odds with what it is that really means the most to us, what it is we really want for ourselves, who it is we want for ourselves, what brings us peace, happiness, and joy, and taking a good look at the routines, the systems, the foundations that we've created and whether or not they're actually supporting us in getting the kind of safety and stability in our relationships, in our routines, in our money matters that we've been praying for. Venus then goes ahead and makes a not so nice aspect with the sun in Scorpio. This is really, again, putting a huge focus on what makes us happy, what brings us joy, What is of worth? What is of value? How are we spending our time? How are we spending our energy? Who are we spending our time and energy on? This is a huge boss up. This is a huge opportunity with Venus being in Capricorn for so long, especially going through a retrograde, for us to reanalyze, restructure, reorganize who is in our lives, how we spend our time, how we make efforts to make, time for what makes us happy, brings joy, brings pleasure. This is a time for recreation. And Capricorn energy does help us build, but there is a certain death to some aspects of our lives that has to happen before we have a clean slate to actually build on. The moon goes ahead after moving into Gemini energy. Let me tell you, the moon in Taurus to the moon in Gemini, light and fluffy and airy, but a lot of pressure in the head. We're trying to ask the right questions. We're trying to sort things out. Again, the Tauran energy, we had the blinders on. We just wanted to stick in the present moment. Now we bust those blinders off. That Gemini energy suddenly just expands our minds. It makes us more social. We're asking the right questions within ourselves, within the other people. We're opening our minds up to new possibilities. And this is going to bode very well for us, especially where we're in the midst of this huge transformation. So the moon sits next to the true node that is in Gemini as well. And again, in the very early degrees of Gemini, because we are going to have that nodal shift early on in the new year, switching from Gemini Sagittarius axis to Taurus and Scorpio axis. Again, this is why the full moon lunar eclipse was very super special. We're getting a very special preview, a taste of what the next 1.5 years are going to look like, taking us into 2023 with all the eclipse energies on the Tauran and Scorpio axis. So the moon in the true node, we have some reworking to do in our emotions, in our thoughts, in our plans, because we're reanalyzing our values and what makes us most happy. And that is very conflicting to the actions that we're currently taking in our present day. We have to make a change. We're in Scorpio season. We're wrapping up the life lessons. We must change. We must transform. The moon goes ahead and makes a beautiful aspect with Neptune, and this is going to give us a beautiful opportunity to get right with ourselves. Once again, we have been kind of losing touch with our intuition because of the craziness going on in the cosmos. This particular aspect brings us back, brings us in alignment, makes us open emotionally and mentally to some of the intuitive feelings that for many of us, we've been trying to block out. Why? Because they've been going against and opposing what it is that we thought to be true, what it is that we've been actually actively trying to pursue in our lives. New information, new details are totally changing the game. And this is going to give us an opportunity to get our heart, our head, and our intuition back on the same page. The moon is going to make our harmonious aspect with Venus, wrapping up the day for us. The moon in Gemini, Venus in Capricorn, again, slowing down because she's in her pre-shadow period. The moon in Gemini does have us open-minded. Venus, of course, needs to open her mind in order to get very real, down to the basic levels on what it is that makes her happy, what it is that brings her a sense of joy, where it is that she's got to do some more work to up her confidence, boost her self-esteem, and really see the worth and the value within herself before she can see the worth and the value of how she shows up for the other people in her life. And of course, we're all learning this very tough love life lesson as a collective. The moon and Venus are really going to illuminate for us some emotional wants, needs, and desires, likely through what it is that we're not currently experiencing. So if we're in a relationship and it's not the most stable, it's not the most loving, it's not the most encouraging, and of course that's what we want for ourselves, we're going to be illuminated to that. We are still in the full moon energy. It is a huge illumination of all the not so nice things that we're experiencing that we don't want to experience in the next cycle. So emotionally speaking, mentally speaking, there is going to be a huge shift as we wrap up the day by considering what makes us happy, what's bringing us joy, where it is that we need more stability, and recognizing that we have had a hand, a huge hand, in creating the lives that we're no longer satisfied with.